Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about something awesome that was just released in the Unreal Fest, which is Megalights. And what this is just something that people like myself that have been doing rendering inside of Unreal Engine, and everybody that's been doing games, everybody that's been doing virtual production, we all could use this. So let's look at the demo first, and then we'll go into Unreal and see it for ourselves in the 5.5 preview. So make sure you watch the whole thing till the end. Now, over here in the presentation, one of the things that's really impressive is that these are, in fact, just a lot of lights. And you're going to see that as the presentation progresses, they're going to show the amount of lights that they do have on the scene, which is, to me, insane. Now, this is a little bit about geometry. You can see that everything is really high geometry, most of them from Kitbash 3D, Mega Scans, and if you've been around the channel, you know that these are super high-end assets. So as you can see, everything is working real time, and they're doing it in a PS5, which I know the console people are, getting all uppity that the PS5 can do this and the Xbox cannot. PC is still superior, just so you know. So let's leave it at that. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. And he's gonna turn everything off, and you can see how everything lights up again. And this is the part where I wanted to get. So look at the amount of lights that are happening here. This is incredible, and the fact that he doesn't drop frame rates is what's mind-blowing, because one of the things that's really expensive when you're using a real-time rendering engine, aside from reflections and texture size, lights can be very expensive, and especially lights that produce soft shadows, which they already said here that you can use area lights, which is the lights that we most commonly use, and that is going to improve not only games, and they're showing it here on the PlayStation, they're showing it for games, but where this is a game changer, or like Unreal Sensei would say, a big deal, is when it comes to virtual production. So whenever you're doing things for the wall, you usually need to double your frame rate. And I had to deal with this, especially because I've been in small productions. If you're someone like Disney or Netflix, you have infinite money for infinite computer power. But the studios that I've been, there is a cap on, how much computing power they have. And this is something that you need to work around and optimize in the scene. Looks like this is going to help a lot, because you can just have a lot of lights and you can just pretty much paint the world with lights and shadows, and it doesn't matter. The performance will not be affected. And that is what is amazing. The fact that you have so many lights here and the performance is not affected when you're doing virtual production with the LED wall and you need that high frame rate for it to function, this is going to help a ton. And when you're doing animation, so 3D animation, the kind of animation that I want to do inside Unreal Engine, you can use more lights instead of more trickery. So I can use lights that will look more realistic in the end, as opposed to, just have a light here that will be the fill light, etc., etc. Because even with Lumen, you had to kind of play with indirect lighting and all that. So this takes care of that. So one of the highlights here is just the amount of lights, because usually you limit the amount of lights that you have on scene in order to, not create a chaos for frame rates. So like I said, this isn't only for video games. This is for everybody using the LED wall, doing virtual production, 3D animation, architectural visualization. I am actually using Unreal on my day job to do things that are very high poly, that needs a lot of lights. So this is going to help a ton with my work as my day job, and my other work, which is what I do for my YouTube channel and for you guys. Now let's look at it here. I loaded a sci-fi scene that I really like, and again, this is all super experimental. So this is the preview 1 of Unreal Engine 5.5, and I loaded a scene that I really like because it's a sci-fi scene. It has a lot of cool stuff. It has a decent poly count. It's actually something that I would use for virtual production. And let me just take care of that lens flare. And I'm just going to turn that lens flare off. There you go. This is a new message that I've never seen before. I don't know if this has to do with Megalights. If somebody knows something already, just let me know what this is all about, because there is no documentation as far as I know. I've searched online and there is no documentation for this yet. So again, I'm just experimenting and looking at stuff. You can see how this thing behaves. This scene looks wonderful. Let me just give you a little bit more space. And the place where you're going to locate Megalights, if you are in the preview 5.5, is in the post-processing volume. So just add a post-processing volume to your scene, and we just search for Megalights, and you're gonna see that's under rendering features. So Megalights is right here, and we got a tooltip over here. This says allows forcing Megalights on or off for this volume regardless of project settings for Megalights. So there are some project settings for Megalights. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so Megalights are actually turned off by default. It says whether to use Megalights by default, but this can still be overridden by the post-processing volume, which I think it's awesome not having to come here and enable disable stuff. Megalights uses stochastic sampling to render many shadows, casting light inefficiently with a consistent low GPU cost, which is the important part. When Megalights is enabled, the direct lighting algorithm, deferred shading, will no longer be used. Oh, okay, that's surprising. And other shadowing methods like ray traced shadows, distance field shadows, shadow maps will no longer be used. Even more interesting. Megalights requires hardwired ray tracing and does not support directional light. Okay, that's important, because that means outside scenes will probably be out of the questions for now. One of the things that's interesting is you can see how lit up this is, and if I turn it on, then you actually get more shadows, which is fascinating. So let's, turn off the icons, and I'm guessing this just makes more shadows, because everything looks fine. Let's see the frame rate count, show FPS. So right now we're doing 40. If we turn on Megalights, we go all the way to 60. So you can see there's a major improvement here. If you look at the frame rate, let me do that again for you. If I turn off Megalights, you can see that we are around 40, 41-ish frames per second. If I turn it on, it goes all the way to 60, 66 frames per second. And yeah, that is awesome. Everything still looks great, by the way. So I think it just intensified the shadows a little bit, but everything else around here, and yeah, this scene is gorgeous. I love this asset pack. Everything else is looking amazing. One of the things that we should do, let's go back to that hallway that we were in just a second ago. Over here, there you go. Now, with the Megalights, let's compare Megalights to path tracing. So we go here, path tracing. Let me see. I think everything here is probably none. Oh no, it's preparing shaders. Okay, I'll let it compile shaders, and I'll be right back in a sec. All right, here we are in path tracing, and let's turn off Megalights for now. And let's go to the path tracing part of this. Too many bounces, 3 is fine. Too many samples, 150, and denoise. Okay. All right, boom. That's how it looks with path tracing, which, again, probably if I take off the denoiser, it'll probably look a little bit better. And let's turn on emission materials. But this is how it looks with path tracer, and this is how it looks lit up. Let's see. Do we have Megalights off? No. Okay. So this is with Megalights, and this is with path tracing. Interesting. So with path tracing, it actually approximates more towards Lumen without Megalights than with Megalights. That is interesting. Go back to path tracing. Yeah. And of course, because we're in path tracing, this thing is really, really slow. But this thing looks gorgeous in path tracing, so I just had to do the comparison real quick. Yeah, this looks awesome. So go back to lid. So the takeaways so far, I need to study this a little bit more. Once we have more documentation on this, I'll keep you posted. I'll probably wait till this is on the release version because again, it's a preview version. Usually after preview 3 is when things get a little bit better. Like it's probably gonna still be experimental in 5.5, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be usable in 5.5. So I'll do another video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you stay tuned for that. And I'll do another video once we have more information on this. But I just want to show you how it works, how you can use it. You can actually use it right now. Just download 5.5, throw in a post-process volume, and start playing with it. And you can see that what matters the most to me is the increase in frames per second. This is amazing. Again, for virtual production, for video games, anything that you've been doing in Unreal, the increase, like that is 20 frames per second gain. Like 20 frames per second gain, it's a lot. So yeah, it's just pretty impressive. I'd say the Megalights are as big deal as Lumen and Nanite was when it came out. All right, everybody, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for staying all the way till the end. All my socials on downstairs. Don't forget to leave a like and leave a comment. That really helps the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.